Hello, everyone. Welcome. I am Ananda Rose. Thank you for joining me today. I am talking with the lovely Anna Barker from The Subtle Way. Anna is an energy healing practitioner and a yoga instructor. I didn't get it all right, Anna. I did say it was long. I might not get all the words in. How are you and welcome?
I'm doing really well, thank you, and thank you for having me here. It's nice to do on a very cloudy, rainy day.
Of course, a dark
Sure.
day in Auckland, right?
Mm.
Mm,
Hoping I've got enough light on my face so you
you
can see
do.
me.
You do. You look lovely. Anna, please tell us your title again because I botched it up, I thought.
Well, it's pretty much the same thing. You just said energy healing practitioner, energy medicine practitioner. So I work with subtle energy healing and subtle energy yoga. So yeah, energy
Hence,
medicine.
the subtle way
Mm.
is what your website is, as well as your YouTube channel, and of course, that's the name of your business, the subtle way. Okay, friends, I just want to highlight that we are having an issue with internet at the moment, and so if the words don't match or don't catch up with when I'm saying it, that be the reason. If there's a delay, I apologize. We will fix that technical issue. I picked it up on a previous video I did with Morgana Sophia, so I apologize. And that's probably going to happen today, but we are working on it. So, Anna, we've known each other for a few years now, maybe 5 years, because I think the first time we met was either 2020 or 2021.
Yeah, one of those two. I don't remember
One of
exactly.
those two. It feels like it's so far away, right? And we met together because we had joined this group called NZ Consciousness Creators. I think that's what they were called, right?
Yeah.
Yes, and you were the lady sending the emails for our meeting times, etc. I remember that part about you.
Mm.
But over time, you've put up stuff on the PHA's Telegram channel, and I've seen you come through there and share your work. So I know, so if you're wondering where I'm going to with this, what I'm saying, I need to give our audience a little bit of context. You're doing energy medicine healing and you're a yoga instructor. And that's what you're doing. But you have been doing energy, something or the other with energy for longer than that time. So tell me a little bit about yourself, about your history and how you come to be here.
Okay, yeah. So in 2007, I moved up to Canada, um, in the Northern Hemisphere, and I was there for a few years. And it was while I was there, I was working in film and television, and I kind of decided this isn't the direction for me. I did not enjoy working those really long hours, and yeah, I kind of didn't feel like I was really exploring all the things that I was interested in. So I left that, and in that process, I then had more time. So I began exploring more deeply, getting into, I practiced yoga before, but I hadn't really gone into the spiritual side of yoga. So I started learning more of the meditation practices, the kirtan, the mantra chanting, the getting into studying the Bhagavad Gita. And then I also started exploring into energy medicine as well. So I did both my first sort of my formal teacher training of yoga in 2010, and it's also the same time as I did a Reiki practitioner course as well, which so that was the first energy medicine modality I properly studied. And yeah, so it sort of launched from there. And since then, I have done multiple energy medicine modalities, including pranic healing and quantum touch, working with Cindy Dale, another one called Commune Energetics, and a few other little bits and pieces here, and read quite widely and tried out different things. So I've sort of gone into my own style now, which is why I just use the term energy medicine practitioner. I don't sort of label it as a particular modality because I don't really feel like I have a particular modality. I'm a bit of a
Hmm.
hodgepodge mishmash person, bringing different things from different places. And so, and the way I studied yoga was very traditional. In the Hatha style, I studied with the Shivananda group, so it was very much you've got to do all the things, the pranayama, the mantra, the asana, the meditation. So it's sort of quite a broad aspect rather than just the physical side. And so these two things were quite separate. And then it's only been in this last year or so of bringing those together. And so been doing the subtle energy yoga and sort of just gave it that name to sort of represent that we're working with the subtle energies. It's still yoga, but it's not a direct traditional form of yoga. And so bringing in some stuff from like traditional Chinese medicine as well, working with the meridians, working with a bit of acupressure, neurovascular points, a bit of massage with the neurolymphatics, as well as working with the auric field and the chakras and the breath work and energy medicine practices rather than pure yogic meditations and pranayamas. So again, it's a bit of a hodgepodge as well, which is probably not the most complimentary way to put it, but that's kind of what it feels like in the practice. So it's merging a lot more the different skills I've brought in from different places. And so the subtle energy yoga, doing that with my clients or more in group classes or online classes, it filled a gap for me is because when I'm doing energy healing sessions, which I still work with privately with clients one on one, that's quite a passive aspect of the work, which is wonderful. Everybody needs that time and space to be held. And I work with the energy system. I mainly work remotely. So if someone just lies somewhere comfortable in their home and we'll communicate and I work with the energy system. But, we all have to do our own work at the same time. And so the subtle energy yoga is a place where people can develop their own skills, learn the practices and integrate those. Whereas the little bits and pieces one can do for oneself in daily life. And it's more the active approach. So that sort of filled that gap for me as well. Not because I can't teach someone everything in an energy healing session, or there's only so much you can do in a short amount of time.
Mm,
So
mm.
that's my roundabout way of getting there. And then I've gone through my own health challenges and traumas and stress as well, because I lived in the States for a long time and then life there fell apart. And I came here and I was very sick and traumatized and had a lot to work through. So that also brought that trauma informed aspect in as well, because in the past I had used a level of spiritual bypassing and using spirituality to not deal with my own things. And at some point in time, that all comes to a head, and we have to sort of face the essence of who we are and what we're carrying and what we need to let go of and how to
Mm.
work through it.
Wow. Mm. So when you talk about your work and your like what you've learned and how you created the subtle way and you're working with the different as you're working with aspects, obviously you've created you call it a mishmash. Um, and I would say it's an evolution because
Mm,
you've taken all the things that you've created something that you have chosen out of all the learning you've done and all the experience you've had, and you've said, well, okay, this is what I think this has got to look like. So you're not following someone's way hard and fast. That's the way to do it. I mean, we had
mm,
to change that. Looking around you and I know for me, my experience was doing interviews with energy healers and I've been doing that for now, what, 2.5 years, maybe even longer because I did it on radio since maybe 2017. I've been doing it on radio, but I've seen how every energy healer has to change what they have been doing for the last 10, 20 years in
mm,
this time. And that's started to happen, like, say, the middle of 2023, where you thought the old way was clearly not working. And I mean, this is not the old way as in the third dimension, but the old way of doing things once you realize you are transforming into the fifth dimension and moving into this transformative period with the planet. People had a certain way of doing things and it worked for a long, long time. Energy healers would say, I do this, this is what I charge, this is what the time you get. And you book that time. There were energy healers that were even saying, well, if you do not cancel within 48 hours or 24 hours, or sorry, if you cancel within 48 hours, then your money is forfeited. They were doing a very third dimensional way of doing business, right, into energy healing. And in 2023, I could see that it was no longer working. But also, what was no longer working was, or why it had to evolve, was because our mindset of, okay, this is how you do Reiki, or this is how you do that modality.
Mm,
Modality was basically coming up with, actually, yeah, that's how you do that, but what are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with it for you, for yourself? That was really, we're really being called out to that. So good on you that you call it a mishmash, but I have to say it's exactly right. It's exactly how it was meant to be. You had to, you had to take the road untraveled and create your authentic self and what your offering is, because all of us, whilst we are part of the whole, we still have something unique to offer that is
mm,
ours, that we came, that's our essence, personal one. Yeah.
mm. Yeah,
Mm.
I guess like just while you're talking about this, I haven't really spoken about this before, but I guess one of the things that has been the major shift in the way that I work now is in many of the modalities that I learned, you're taught to channel energy through your body into someone else. And I actually don't do that anymore. I work more quantumly, so I connect more with the field, the quantum field around us in space. So I'm not shifting energy through me to then affect somebody else. I'm working with the energy field that's, or their energy field that's directly around them, and the energy that's available to them in their environment. And so, because there is sort of about this thing about take like, you don't really want my energy and I don't really want your energy. We don't really want to be exchanging our stuff in a way. And I think maybe that's why this shift happened, because it's only happened in the last probably 3 4 years maybe,
Mm.
or less. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably in the last couple of years.
Yeah. Yeah.
My Sometimes my sense of time is not the best. um
Well, it's not
and
been the best for a long time for many of us. So,
Yeah, so it's this real shift, and sometimes I kind of ask intuitively, should I just move the energy? Because I work intuitively, and I get that guidance of what to do and what not to do, and because you've got this toolbox full of things, and you can't use all of them in every single session. So it's
mm.
just like, what do I need? And then the thing comes through of this is what to do, and I keep asking every once in a while, like, do I move that energy through me? And I'm always getting this flat out, no, don't, just do it this way. Connect with the field, connect with the energy around them, connect with the energy. So I feel like in some ways there's less exchange of my energy and their energy, in a sense. It's
Yeah.
just
Mm.
going straight to, because the energy is all around us and available to all of us, and so it's just connecting, and let's just bring this energy straight in from source. It doesn't need to go through me. Who wants to, because if I'm
Yeah.
moving energy through me, I can be accidentally filtering my stuff, maybe. I don't, not necessarily. I mean, there's protocols around not doing that thing. But yeah, so that's something that has been a huge shift in recent years, and I think it's definitely changed the efficacy of the work I do.
Yeah.
It's been quite different and
I think
exciting.
if I'm hearing it, I feel like when you talk about this, well, previously channeling your energy through you and then bringing it out, to
Mm,
that person, I feel like that was an awakening thing that we all had to
mm,
awaken to. We thought, oh, this is how you do it. And then the more and more we sort of awaken to what's new, the keys and codes that are coming down from the universe, we're starting to see, actually, no, I don't have to do that.
mm,
There's this other ways. There's a quantum field, and you can do the work in the quantum field rather than bringing energy through you. And so I think
mm.
it's part of that learning, evolving in our education about everything esoteric, because we know how to do all of this. We just obviously chose to do the journey this way. And so, that's great. And the only way people can start to, I believe people can start to do that is by doing the work on themselves, like,
Mm.
making sure we are up to par with doing meditations and tuning in for people. I mean, you know this, you can't do that kind of work and not do tuning in or doing meditations regularly,
Yeah.
because, well, that's the key really to all of that. Those are the basic keys.
Yeah, you have to
Mm,
have your own practice. It's
very
definitely
important.
it's essential.
Yeah,
Be able
yeah.
to keep. Otherwise, you kind of get a little bit disconnected and lost, and it's a bit harder just to tune back in.
Yes. I mean, it's becoming easier and easier to tune into guidance like instantly, constantly. Sometimes we're doing it all the time. Sometimes I think about it so much. I'm thinking about it all the time that that's the love of my life, and I don't actually realize it until after I think, but that's all I thought about today. This thing, and how do you do that, and that thing, and how do you do that? Guidance, guidance, guidance. Because
Mm,
it's now become everything. We've become it. It's become us and we've become it. But that doesn't still, even in that situation, does not mean we should not have a practice. Very important to have a practice.
mm.
So, you know, the subtle way, I looked at the website and I
Oh,
loved the website.
thank you.
I loved the website. I thought, wow, this is awesome. Um, you're offering yoga sessions. People, you've got a series of yoga sessions coming up. And so you're offering that, and that's an online yoga session, right? Yoga sessions that you do at different times of the month. Tell
Yeah,
us
I'm
about
doing
that.
a monthly sort of long format class, about 90 minutes, once a month. So that's a live class
Hmm.
and it'll be recorded as well. And so it gives me a time where I can focus on a particular aspect and then give a little bit of teaching at the beginning, only like 10, 15 minutes, because I think sometimes it's helpful to set the stage and, provide that education,
Hmm.
and it can get a little bit deeper. And then the main focus is the rest of the time's the longer class, and maybe leave a few minutes at the end for a bit of question and answers if anything comes up during class as well. So it's quite flexible. So I've got 90 minutes, so there's plenty of time to fit everything in without kind of having to be too rigid to specific time lengths.
Hmm.
And then also with the yoga, I'm creating a membership space as well. So and that's just going to be on demand classes. And then I'll do so people can come to those monthly sessions as a standalone thing, or they can join the membership and it's included there. And then you've got shorter practices available through the membership. Um,
Okay.
and then I add new things in there each week. And then I'm going to start creating some more smaller series type things that I can focus on a particular topic. And then
Hmm.
those will be, you can get just that, or you can have it as part of the membership as well. So I'm only just launched the yogic side online over the last few weeks, a couple of weeks, really. It's all very new.
Right. Yeah.
I've been teaching it in a yoga studio for a
Hmm.
while, and so I teach in Milford and Auckland
Okay.
once a week. So that was sort of my testing ground to try things out, how people responded, what the receivership was like, and so that's going really well. So I was doing that before
That's good.
doing the
So you're
online
doing in
space.
person and you're doing online. I think
Mm.
it's important to do the in-person one when you with this kind of work, right?
Yeah, I think it's really helpful because it can be a little bit easier to test things out because you're getting
Yeah.
immediate response from
Yeah.
people and you can see
Yeah.
what's happening. Whereas if you're doing it online, especially on demand, you don't really see what's happening for other people. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's good to sort of have a little bit of a foot in each pie, or if
Hmm.
that's the way to put it. Just yeah, so it's quite fun. So I get to get more experimental in the in-person classes and then
Yeah. Yeah.
do it online. So.
Human interaction's always good.
Mm.
Hmm.
So yeah, and I'm planning at some stage to do some more sort of longer workshops around Auckland as well. But it's just sort
Good.
of there's only so many things you can do at once.
Yeah, true, true. Yes, Anna, thank you for sharing that. I just wanted to talk about so what I felt about the website. That's what I want. We were talking about the website, and I just want to just say a little bit. A little bit more about that was I liked the feel of it. I like the picture of you. I like how you're drawing us in the picture.
Mm.
And you were just talking about doing things in person, and I like that idea that you do things in person because we're being called to come out now, right? For a long time, us here in New Zealand, we kind of went into hibernation or isolation. Let's not use that word, right? I
Yeah,
mean, that happened to us. 2020 marred the rest of our years up until now. And I feel like light workers, star seeds, energy healers are just being asked to go now, go for it, because we were on pause. We had to reflect on how we did our work. We had to I mean, I don't call myself an energy healer. I'm a light language messenger, and I've only started calling myself light language messenger maybe like 2 years ago. But light language has got healing capable. You can use light language to do healing and things like that. But I just know that many people were on pause because we were isolated if we didn't take a certain thing, and all of that stuff. So I think it's great to do in-person stuff. On the website, I noticed, and I'm going to talk money, and I try not to talk money, but I'm just going to talk money. Anyway, I noticed your sessions are like $15 a session.
Yeah, that's for the online yoga class. Yeah.
Yeah, right. But I thought that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, well, I thought I'd wanted to, when I work with people one on one in the energy healing sessions, that's a bit of a higher price point.
Obviously.
I'm working
Obviously.
with them clients. And so I really wanted to make the yoga a lot more accessible. So, and especially because it's an online class, I just wanted to keep it really low. And then the membership I've kept to like $30 a month, New Zealand dollars. So, if you live in a different country, that's nothing. Um,
If you live in, in,
yeah,
in, in countries like the United States and the United Kingdom
yeah,
and
it's
and in
very.
Europe, that the exchange rate is pretty good for them.
Yeah. So I wanted to keep that really low to keep it really accessible to anyone, no matter what their financial
Mm,
circumstances are, because I also like I feel like these practices are really powerful because I've noted integrating these two things together. I've noticed it's really up-leveled things for myself as
mm,
well. And because I like to do sort of energy healing activations at the end of the yoga classes, I have to doing all this energy work, like getting our energy, like we're working on unscrambling and unscattering our energy system through the classes, making sure we're grounded, get everything flowing nicely. And then you go into this energy activation. It just has a lot more
mm,
power and oomph to it than if I was just, sitting around and I would do workshops. And so I'll give a lot of theory and background and then do like an energy healing activation. So you had all the information. But within the yoga, you got all, instead of having the information, you've got the energy system activated and it feels like a different oomph, but you're not getting all the knowledge. And so, yeah, I have to find that balance because I just want to give all the information, but there's only so much you can do when you're actually doing the practical
mm.
exercises.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
And yoga has changed. It really has because
so much.
it has changed so much. I mean, its origins obviously had meant to be holistic, where you use meditation and mindfulness and music and toning and and then the actual practice itself. And then as it became more and more Western, it became quite commercial. And I had a yoga class a couple of years ago where I went there and it was all about being professional. And I thought, I actually just stopped because I thought, I can't do that. Professional. It's about being professional rather than being, yoga is so much more than professional. Yeah, be
Mm,
professional. But what about the mindfulness practice? What about reading the room and what's going on with people? And no,
mm,
I'm on a timer and I've got to get this done. And I don't care. If you're not making that, I'm just gonna watch you work through it and work it out yourself. It's like, oh no, this is
mm.
not how yoga is done. I did do one or two of your yoga sessions this week.
Oh, yay.
Because you on your YouTube channel, and I thought, I feel like I want to do it, and I'm very proud of you doing that. I want to say proud because you're a New Zealander, and I've seen other people do it,
Mm.
and they're from other parts of the world, but I am so proud that you're a New Zealander that's doing it. And so I think, oh, wow, Anna, wonderful that you took that step out there and you did it.
Well, thank you. It's kind of definitely very challenging to show up on camera because it's like I don't have the perfect yoga body, um, just sort of as I am. And yeah, and I want to put a bit into it. I don't put everything into it. So like in the membership or the doing the monthly classes, we go a lot deeper and it's a lot broader. I'm try and make the YouTube ones a little bit shorter, but I find it really hard to keep the class short, so they can
Yeah.
end up being a little bit longer. But making sure I'm putting a taste of what it is to connect with the energy system in the body, because yeah, we want to bring in that mindfulness, the awareness, also that connection with spirit. I don't necessarily do that as deeply in a really short session as when we have doing a longer session. We do a lot more of that, like taking the time to just get centered, connect with your own spiritual energy, connect with that which connects you with the divine, the source, God, however you like to identify with it, because I think that's a really important element, and we don't get that in enough yoga classes anymore. And
Yeah.
so, and that's important part, like even in some of the trainings I've done. And so I've done a little bit of training in energy medicine yoga, which is very connected with a woman called Donna Eden. And so I'm using some of those practices. But when I've done their classes, like before I start the class, for me and what I need out of yoga, I like to sit down and, I'm going to take my time and do a practice to get into that awareness space. So use sort of the awareness meditation or orientation from awareness, which comes more out of the classical tantric tradition. So not the neo tantra stuff, but the proper authentic tantra,
Yeah. Yeah.
that is about meditation and mantra primarily, and moving energy. Tantra is all about moving energy as well,
Yeah.
with kundalini and so get distracted. But for me to feel complete in my practice and to go to a deeper level with all the energy system, taking that time to do the awareness practice, and then moving into more of a modern sort of connecting in with my own spirit and spiritual essence, and then I'll start the video and do their practice in that sense. But it's like, because a lot, like, often it's just jumping straight into a class these days without taking that time to, like, if you went to a traditional yoga class, you'd be starting with mantra, you'd be starting with that sound, which
Yes.
does that essence of it, sort of brings you into resonance and harmony in your body.
Mm.
And so taking that time to do it, I don't do it as much with mantra at the moment, because I don't feel like I'm as skilled in that, but I have been trying to communicate with a teacher of mine who's taught me a particular meditation practice of Uchara, and is a Sanskrit scholar, and I want to talk to him about more of how I can bring in the sounds, the bija sounds, um, into this practice, but I haven't quite got there yet, because he has a
Mm.
different interpretation of what the bija sounds are than what kind of most people think of. So more details coming soon.
I
You
have two
know, when that
recommendations for
progresses.
you. I have two
Yeah.
recommendations for you. And one is Meditative Mind, a channel called Meditative Mind. And the other one is Jay Dev Singh. Actually, the channel isn't called Jay Dev Singh, it's called Life Jay Dev Singh. It's not called that. It's called Life Force Academy.
Okay.
He does a lot of Kundalini yoga, and I love Kundalini yoga. Um, and watch it sometime. They've managed to incorporate it.
Mm.
Um,
Is that the Kundalini yoga from Yogi Bhajan?
no, not that
Or
I'm aware of. Sorry, I haven't heard that name. But I want to come back to your practice, though. I just want, it's just as we were talking about it, I just thought, I must mention those to you. Just watch them, observe them.
Mm.
Um, See if there's anything valuable. I mean, I will always suggest things if I think you could gain value from it. Perhaps that's the New Zealanders. That's what we do all the time. Anyway,
Yeah.
what I wanted to say about your practices. Now, I know you said you're trying to keep them short,
Mm.
and yes, you don't have. You were saying, well, you don't have the yoga body for it or whatever. But is yoga about having a yoga body?
I guess that's the modern projection that we have in this sort of reality system of the moment of what yoga is. Like, you have to be perfectly flexible, you've got to have this particular body shape and things like that. And that's the thing, is I want this to be accessible, especially around people that, well, don't, have the physical ability to go to a yoga studio or something like that. It's really for, the gentle, and that's part of the reason of the subtle way, is also it's that subtle approach. It's not the push really hard workout push your body too hard. It's more like let's just back and take time and move forward just a little bit at a time. Because I dealt with chronic illness, with chronic fatigue myself, and if I pushed too hard, I paid a price. And so I had to learn how to step back and not, you know, my limit was here, but if I went to my limit, it would wipe me out. So I had to kind of learn how to not go to my limit. And then by doing that, I move forward faster than if I constantly try to go to my limit. So it's sort of that subtle, gentle way rather than the forceful way is what worked towards recovering than, if I tried to strive or push, 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 which we're kind of taught to do. So it was sort of
Mm.
reprogramming myself to a different way of thinking.
Yes, definitely. What I liked about your YouTube channel is how
Mm,
organic it was or is. I like that you do it the way you do. It's for anyone, anybody. It's real. And whilst, you can have all this professionalism in it and you can make it look with, shiny and all of that stuff. That's good. That's good. If anybody wants to do that, that's what they
mm.
feel. I feel I liked the authenticity of it. Excuse me. I like how real it was and how organic it was. And for
Thank you.
me, yeah, that's I'm sold on that. So I'm sure many other people feel the same way. We'll put the links in the description box for everybody to access it or be able to access it if they want to. What I would like to ask is, so I've asked so many questions so far, or not many, but we've had a conversation. I feel like I want to ask this question. Do you channel a collective or anything like that, Anna? Do you have, like, how most people, like I for a time have channeled the Phoenix.
Mm.
And then at the moment, I'm not channeling anybody. I'm like not doing any channeling. So do you have a collective like that you channel?
No, I don't. Um,
Yeah,
I guess it just hasn't been a direction I've been pulled into. I've
yeah,
already always kind of, I guess, in the way that I was introduced to spirituality, which is sort of through the Hermetic Gnosis, and it was all about sort of, developing your own connection to spirit and
mm,
going and connecting with that.
yeah,
And I mean, when you connect with your own spirit, you're connected with all that is. But
exactly.
yeah, so that's sort
Yeah.
of been my place and direction. It's just, I guess I figured if I was called or meant to go in that direction, it would have happened. But it seems to be, no, seems to be my little path, and that's
Mm.
the
No,
way.
you're channeling your
Uh,
higher self. You're channeling whatever your guidance is giving to you. And who's your team of light? There could be so many. We don't have to channel. That's the thing.
mm,
We don't have to channel. Although all of us are doing some kind of channeling when we're channeling in energy or working in the quantum field. Who are we looking at in that space, right? So I guess maybe channeling is not that one
mm,
hard and fast way of doing it. For example, oh, this person says, I channeled this collective. This is who I work with. I've channeled over time. I've channeled the Phoenix.
mm,
I channel unicorns sometimes. I have my personal unicorns that I work with. I have my personal dragons that I work with, and I channel them. And in more recent times, I've been channeling more my dragon from Mercury, and I've called this dragon Micah. And it's about high vibrational communications. And I'm in
mm,
communications, really, aren't I? Because I'm talking to you here. I do radio. I've been doing radio for the last, what? Maybe 15 years, 15, 16 years. So, um, it just depends who's going to come to work with you on your team of light.
mm.
Um, so that was what I wanted to ask. The other thing I want to ask is, do you have a profound message that you would like to share with the collective before I ask my last question?
Um, Before I answer that, I just wanted to step back a little bit. It's like when I do, I want to put this out there, like just to clarify, when I do, do intuitive work and I do ask directly for guidance, I guess for me, things don't really show up in words. It's not so conversational. It's just sort of, oh, here's just a knowingness of this, that, or an image of something. And it's very unspectacular. But I do always make sure to ask only or allow in only the guidance which is coming from the higher sources. So if it's coming from someone else, I'm always just, making sure it's coming from their higher spirit, because, I'm also connecting with somebody else's spirit, with their guides, their communities. I don't necessarily get a sense of exactly who their guides are, but sometimes I can feel like some people just have a lot of people around them. It can be a little bit messy. It's like all those different little, because sometimes the entities that hang around, especially if they're sort of ancestral, they're not always coming from their highest place. They sort of have their own agenda. They might want
Yes.
somebody else to work out their stuff for them, but it's like it's not actually appropriate. So I just wanted to make
Yeah.
sure people understand, like, if you're communicating, always ask for information that's whoever you're communicating with coming from their highest spirit or source, and that it's only for your highest good. Just I just wanted to
Yeah.
put that in
Thank you for that. Thank you for explaining that because I didn't doubt for one moment. I did not have a doubt about your channeling, like, that it would be anything but careful.
there.
And I said your channeling, but because of channeling in energy, working in the quantum field, what wisdom you're getting, what discernment you're getting, because those are things we call them downloads these
Mm,
days. Downloads, we're getting downloads because in any, what is your senses telling you about some situation or the other, right?
yeah.
And that's basically what we're doing. And and in recent times, I've also come, it's becoming more and more evident. Actually, not all the people on your team are there for, you know, for the
Mm,
good. They're there for maybe their good.
yeah.
And usually we have to tell them to just go. I've had words with mine. I tell them to bugger off and stop giving me nonsense. You know, right now in the collective, we've had to go through like so much of the mind war.
Mm,
And then on top of everything, they add all of that. They allow all those people to come in and have and be the voices in our ears and things that you've not, like, I find things that I was not um that I was not insecure or not confident about in the past. These days I'm like, no, I'm shying away from that. I don't want to do that.
mm,
Now there's so many reasons for that. It could be that, okay, I'm serving someone else's purpose, as in my team, someone on my team of light. But it also could be that I've come to a place where I feel like I no longer want to do that. So we are having to decipher which is which,
mm.
right? And so, but we are amazing that we've taken the journey. We signed up to be here in this time and space, and we've taken the journey, and it's been tough,
Mm.
really tough. Yet we're still here. We're still doing this.
Yeah, and I think, yeah, it's so important, that aspect of discernment, is what you were saying as well. Because I mean, I'm not talking about you, but I've definitely seen people get swayed because they're getting this information or channeling things for them, but they haven't clarified what kind of information they want to get or where it's coming from and what the intentions are, but
Yeah,
feel like they need to follow that because it came from a so-called sort of spiritual source. So we need as much discernment in that realm as this one as well.
very, very important.
Yeah.
I don't I don't often allow people into my space to do readings for me
Mm,
necessarily. And I always view or let me put it this way. If someone's going to tell me something, most of it, I'll have to say 95% of it, I already know it.
mm,
And that's how I know. My guidance already gave me that information. Someone else who doesn't know me, who's going to now do a reading for me, for example, if it's a reading,
mm.
comes and tells me that, and I'm like, yeah, okay, I know that already. Thanks. And the thing that
Yeah.
I don't know, then okay, that's something I will work with, and I will work with my team of light. But it's probably new information, so that I probably didn't. It has not occurred to me. Mm.
Yeah. And I guess that's the discernment as well. It's like, is what you're going to say going to help someone, or is it going to harm them? And that's an important distinction to make.
Very
And
important.
beware the psychics that are just going to tell you stuff that could cause you harm. It's, yeah. there needs to be, support there and to know that you're being helped.
So Anna, the last
Yeah.
question I have is there anything else you want to share with us that I haven't asked you about?
Um, I guess it's just, keep building your own resilience. This has definitely been an incredibly difficult time, and we are in a type of war. It's a war on consciousness.
Yes.
And the more that you're willing to dissolve your traumas and let them move through your body and working out those things for yourself, the stronger you're building your resilience and the less you can be controlled by fear. So if you're in fear, don't, you know, be, don't criticize yourself for it, but just recognize it and find out where it's coming from and what you can do to support yourself to move through that. That would be probably, yeah. And let's just keep, we all need to keep building our resilience because I don't feel like this is over yet. And we need to keep moving forward. And
Hmm.
the more resilient we are, the less we can be controlled.
So thank you for that. I want to say my thoughts on this a little bit. Just I feel like it's not over yet. It's not over yet because some people would like it to continue and would like us to feel like it's going on and on and on.
Mm,
Everyone is going to feel whatever they're feeling because the journey is very personal. The battle is very personal. Let's put it that way. Not the journey is, but so is the battle, right? And that
mm,
battle is the mind war. And so I feel like, because we can go in and out of it, right? You can keep going in and going out. You can like be feeling great today. Tomorrow is like blah. Okay.
yeah.
It's very important for people to understand that a lot of what we're going through, or a lot of the rinse and repeat cycle, is about illusion. And know that and tell yourself that. And we will come through this. I want to say, ask for your higher timeline because usually I'll be saying that to people, and I still say that. I keep thinking we create our own reality. So why am I creating this reality?
Mm,
What part of my life is allowing me to go back into that elusive state or to buy into this? But the mind war is so rife at the moment, right? And so all I'm saying is understand that it's not just about creating reality. It's not just about moving into the highest timeline. It's easy for all of us to say that. And I've been saying it and I've tried it. And gosh, have I struggled to move into my higher timeline, you know? But understand that all things that are happening, or that we don't have just this one thing that we are having to go through. We've got so many things coming at us.
mm,
And be easy with yourself. Be easy with how you're navigating it. That's the thing. Recently, more and more people are coming out and saying how tough it's been. And I'm feeling so good about that because I've been preaching how tough it has been since 2023 because I couldn't
mm,
understand. I couldn't understand it. And I'd gone through a phase of where I felt like my team of light was not talking to me. They were there. I knew they were there, but I couldn't even hear what they're saying. And we know that's nothing to do with them. It's more about what to do with me, right?
mm,
But when you know that, and this is the other thing, many people will be like so frustrated with themselves because they're like, why am I not getting this? If you're under pressure to perform, to create your reality, you get this thing of, why am I not creating this? What is wrong with me?
mm.
And knowing that you're the reason you're not moving in that direction you want to, whatever, can be very sorrowful, can be very bewildering. But I've come to realize more and more, actually, a lot of it, all of it, I had to go through, but also that when I blame myself all the time, that perhaps that's not the right thing to do.
Yeah,
You
well,
know?
sometimes there's so many different factors affecting our reality system. We've got billions of people here creating different kinds of reality. And I think sometimes this idea of I create my own reality, we do, but we're also in the midst of all these other people creating their own reality as well. And then sometimes we need to just step back and be present with ourselves so we can get a little bit more reminded that, okay, everything as it is right now is okay, actually.
Yes,
And that can
exactly.
kind of be soothing. And then sometimes, we set things up before we come into this life,
Of
set things
course.
up from different perspectives. It's like maybe that reality we think we wanted to create it was actually not the best thing for us.
Yeah.
So something else is going to send us in the other direction. I think
Yeah.
because yeah,
Well, thank
so we
you,
can be,
Anna. Sorry, carry on.
yeah. I was just going to say yeah. So just that reminder to be gentle with ourselves.
Yes, be gentle. Be gentle with ourselves, not just with other people, but with ourselves. Very
Mm.
important. Anna, thank you so much for joining me today, for giving me your time. I appreciate it. I know the collective does too. And I look forward to catching up with you again. Would you like to say goodbye to everybody?
Oh, I just want to say thank you so much, and thank you so much for your time as well. I really appreciate it, and yeah, thank you to all those that spend the time listening to this. I mean, time is probably one of our most important commodities these days when we've got so much
Yeah,
fight for our attention. So deeply appreciate taking the time to watch and listen. And yeah, thank you.
yeah, you're so welcome. Thank you. Well, everyone, thank you so much for watching with us. And I know that these days people aren't watching long videos, but we're not putting out a lot of long videos on the channel, so every now and then is okay. Um, thank you, and I'll catch you next time here on Ananda Rose. Bye, everyone.